Hello and welcome to this edition of Trades and Tutorials. So I recently did a presentation describing how our real motion indicator works, which measures momentum. And yesterday, a couple of things that I taught in this course just came together. It was a perfect example of what I was teaching in the course, so I thought I'd make this quick video for everyone who attended that presentation. But then I decided, well, I'll open it up to anyone who happens to be interested in how to catch markets at a turning point when momentum is shifting before the price action actually demonstrates that it is. So I can't go into the whole description of how real motion works, but for anyone who has never seen real motion, I'll do just a quick demo of it, and you'll see it down here in this chart, and you see it here in this chart. In the chart, this chart over here on the left is a daily chart, and then this chart on the right is a 5-minute chart. We're looking at Costco, the stock. And essentially, real motion enables you to see the trends in momentum that you can't see with any other indicators. It's proprietary to us. And you can't see it on the price chart either. So the dots represent a very short-term measure, one-day measure. In this case, the magenta line here represents a 10-day measure, and the 50 measure is this line in blue. All right. Now, the particular pattern, there are several. If you saw the presentation, you know that. But the particular pattern I'm bringing to your attention is the one that we talked about when we look for a daily chart that is set up to reverse. And we look for a divergence. And so if you look at the price chart up here, you can see this is a closing high here. And we have actually two closing highs that are higher here, but the momentum, right, is not higher. In fact, you can even see it on the 10. It's already started to head lower, even though the market's moving higher. But the key pattern that I taught you in the presentation was to look at the dots and you see that they are diverging. Now, that doesn't mean you're going to sell the high, but next thing you want to do is look for a price action or another indication that it might be ready to turn lower. Well, everything came together nicely in Costco, because if we look over here on the 5-minute chart, we have another pattern that I told you about. This was the pattern that I suggested tells you when you're likely to have a big trend day even before the market opens. And so here is the prior day in the 5-minute chart. And the pattern, if you recall, is to look for the real motion chart. Now, in this case, this is a different time frame of real motion. This is actually a 200 period time frame and a 50 period time frame on a 5-minute chart. You want to see a situation where the real motion is doing completely the opposite as the price. So the green line here is the 200 period moving average. The blue line here is the 50 period moving average. And you can see on the 5-minute chart, they still look bullish, right? The blue line's over the green line. That would be a bullish scenario. But all yesterday, and actually even the day before, the real motion trend was actually down, right? So the way this pattern works is when you get this pattern, you then look, if you have this pattern before the market opens, which we did yesterday because it was still in effect, then you look at either the 5-minute opening range. I like to do it on the 5-minute opening range, or the 30-minute opening range. And if the market breaks in the direction of real motion, now in this case, the nice thing is I've got real motion on the daily now telling me that the market's ready to reverse, and real motion on the 5-minute also giving me that pattern that says if it breaks and breaks the 5-minute opening range, it's probably going to be a big downtrend day. And that's exactly what we got, right? As soon as it broke this 5-minute opening range, bam, that's 221 down to almost 217. That's a huge move. Even if you did the 30-minute, you were able to get a nice day trade out of that. Now, I didn't do the 30-minute because I felt it was a little extended from the open, but the 5-minute was an easy do. All right, so I wouldn't have advocated the 30 just because on a percentage basis, it had moved a little much. Now, the other thing that was really powerful here is just the way the opening range set up. And that setup was, let me see if I can delete. Setup was that the high of today's opening range, or yesterday's, sorry, lined right up with the low of the prior day. So you had a really good stop right above the high of that 5-minute opening range, because that really should be good resistance, and that turned out to be the case if you look at the way the market traded. So a lot of things lined up really nicely, and you're probably wondering, how did I find Costco? Well, I simply noticed it was going to be down in the pre-market, decided to go look at it because it was a stock that I knew was in a strong uptrend. Wasn't thinking of it as a short. I was actually thinking a lower open, maybe there's an opportunity here. But then I looked at real motion on the daily chart, on the short-term daily chart, and I looked at real motion on a 5-minute chart. I saw both of the things that indicate any opening range breakdown would potentially be a big down day, and that's all I had to do. So I hope that helps. It's a great review of what we learned in the session, and if you haven't seen the session or you want to see the training session, I will put a link below this video to it. It won't be up forever, but if it's there, give it a look. Hope that helps, and I'll see you in the next video.